So, tomorrow night, New Hampshire could be a big deal, especially on the GOP side. It's weird on the Democratic side because the presumptive nominee isn't even on the ballot. Weird days. We're going to be all together once again. Dan Abrams, Elizabeth Vargas, and me. And we'll start at 7 o'clock Eastern, and we'll take you all the way through. May not be a long night. So, Governor DeSantis is out, but that doesn't really matter because he was going to be a no-show in New Hampshire anyway. So it's Trump and Haley, and the question is, what will determine the outcomes? Will Trump meet expectations? And if so, is Haley done? What do we know? Boston Globe, head-to-head, all right, last weekend, pretty fresh. Trump, 57-38 for Haley. Is that enough to push her out of the race? We'll discuss. And what about the independent vote? That is really the X factor for Haley. It is like split right now. I mean, you know, literally, they're both in the 40s with that vote. So the idea that that's going to be what puts her over seems remote. But let's bring in the better minds. NewsNation political editor Chris Stirewalt and the co-chair of the Forward Party, 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang, who has endorsed Dean Phillips over Biden. Maybe that's why Biden didn't even bother to get on the ballot in New Hampshire. If he doesn't have Yang, he's having second thoughts. It's good to have you both. Chris Stirewalt, so do we see Nikki Haley in South Carolina a few weeks from today? And if so, what does that mean about what happens tomorrow night in New Hampshire?
So if the poll that you just showed, the tracking poll from the Boston Globe, if that's predictive, then probably not. It's a long way. It's more than a month to New Hampshire. And in political terms, that is many geologic eras, right? That's like 2 ice ages and the fall of the dinosaurs in political terms. To stay on the campaign for that long when there's no race to go to. There's a weird thing in Nevada. They've got a caucus and a primary. It's a whole mess. So there isn't another place to get another gust of momentum for something else to happen to propel her forward. And if she finishes that far behind Trump, one would imagine that her lines of supply would start to dry up.
Independents, Andrew, were supposed to be a real issue up here in New Hampshire. The polls I'm seeing have Trump ahead of her with independents, and they're both in the 40s. What does that mean?
I agree with Chris. If it's a double-digit loss for Nikki Haley, it's hard to see her continuing on, particularly because New Hampshire is a much better state for her than South Carolina would be, given the nature of the electorate. You would need independents rushing into that race at nearly unprecedented numbers to make up the gap. I've been talking to independents here in New Hampshire, and they're actually trying to decide whether to vote in the Republican primary or the Democratic primary as a way to frankly dislodge Donald Trump. And the case that we're making is that if you vote for Dean Phillips, you wind up with a better nominee to defeat Trump in the general in November.
Yeah, but Andrew, who thinks that Dean Phillips is going to beat Biden?
Well, we're going to find out tomorrow night. I think Dean's going to put up a stunningly high number.
He's not on the ballot, which, by the way, Chris, just for my own mind, has that ever happened before where the incumbent isn't on the ballot?
Sure. Lisa Murkowski in 2010 won a write-in campaign to remain the senator from Alaska.
No, I mean as president.
By the way, prior to our current idiotic way of choosing partisan nominees through primaries, so in the 1970s and before, it was very often you'd have stalking horses and you'd have candidates who were hometown favorites who'd be in the place. But in the modern era, I don't remember anything like this.
I mean, Chris, what's your read on that, Andrew? Why isn't Biden on the ballot? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so he's not on the ballot because he chose not to be on the ballot. But make no mistake, the Biden campaign and the DNC are competing here. They've spent over $1.25 million boosting the write-in campaign. They've sent the majority of the cabinet, had dozens of get-out-the-vote events because they know the historical threshold for a Democratic incumbent president here in New Hampshire is 81% for Bill Clinton, 84% for Barack Obama. And if you wind up with an embarrassing level of support below that level, it's going to spur what most Americans want, which is a competition, not a coronation. The fact is Joe Biden's an historically unpopular 81-year-old incumbent. He's on track to lose to Donald Trump, and the Democratic Party actually desperately wants a real competition that I think is going to start tomorrow in New Hampshire.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.